So the first of the items that I wanted to talk to you about and sort of share, I has come up in a previous video, or maybe it's been in one of our Instagram posts. It's our Biolite fire pit, and this is some footage of me trying it out in the back in our driveway. Like to get familiar with things before we actually take them up north or take them on the road with us. And what's nice about this fire pit, it's portable. It's made well, good construction, and it is easy to move once it's lit. It's got the handles, it's got the sliding grill that you can see is open. And another nice thing about this is that it comes with a rechargeable battery pack, which you will see me grab shortly, which when placed on the side, it snaps on and it allows you to then control a fan. And that fan, when it runs at its highest level, causes the fire to burn very hot and near smokeless. So you can see here as I feed the fire with twigs and getting it started sort of in the kindling phase, there's a fair bit of smoke. When you run the fan itself on the side, that smoke all but disappears, and it's quite effective. And then you're not playing musical chairs trying to jump around and get out of the line of smoke when you're sitting around the campfire, which is quite nice. So this was one of our purchases. We do have a fire pit up at our off-grid cabin, but this is nice to be able to move around, bring it a little closer to the water, have it closer to the cabin, or when we might go somewhere and there might not be a readily available fire pit. This is a nice contained solution. Here you can see myself bringing the battery pack with the fan embedded directly in there. There are controls on the side, and you can also connect with your phone via Bluetooth and adjust the speed settings while you sit back and enjoy the fire. Two panels so far. I'm going to get the other two panels set up for full charging. 4 solar panels, 100 watt each, all going into a 1500 watt Jackery Power Station. So this is the Jackery that you would have just seen in the previous video clip when I first set it up, when I first obtained it. It is the 1500 watt. I've got another one of these on order, would love to get the 2000 watt. And it's quite nice. I'm going to step through a little bit indoors so you can see the display a little closer. But this I've put through its paces here with laptops, lamps, even had a fridge plugged into it, and it was working terrific. And this will be what we use up in the off-grid cabin. There is no power. And so while we do have a generator, these are cleaner and quieter. Looking at the front panel, I've brought the Jackery indoors. It's got a really lovely display. This is one of the things I really liked about this device when I was looking at it online. And you can see that it's at 76% power. When I got it, it was at 0%. It took about 5.5 hours with the 4 panels to charge fully. And I've been putting it through its paces. You've got here the inputs. These are 2 adapters that go into here. Each of the adapters then in turn has 2 inputs. So you can put 2 panels on this adapter and 2 panels on that adapter. And then these 2 inputs are providing the 400 watts of input depending on your sun conditions. You've got DC power here, USB-C, which is nice, and then 2 standard USB ports. We've also got our DC 12 volt power that you can plug a variety of things into, one of which I will show you shortly to make coffee. And then we've got 3 alternating current AC power plugs here, pure sine wave with you can have sort of a surge, if I understand correctly, of about 1800 watts. And the nice thing about the way this works is, again, I'll turn the display on. I'm going to get the plug for my power cord for my laptop. You can see here that there's 0 input. Obviously, we're not plugged into anything right now. 0 watt output. It's not drawing anything. And if I plug my MacBook Pro in, for instance, you do have to turn this on. So you actually activate the AC ports. There's a little fan that spins up depending on how much of a draw is happening. And you can see that now there's 16, 17 watts. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. Pulling to charge the laptop. You can see down here it's saying that there's 99 hours left. That's going to go down, obviously, as it starts to average out how much power is being pulled. 42 hours remaining inside the unit at 76% charged to keep my MacBook Pro battery charged. The display does turn off, so you just click it again to bring it back up. So you can see that as the draw from the laptop fluctuates up and down, depending on what the laptop is doing. Right now it's actually processing a little bit of video as I record this piece of video. It's fluctuating, which changes the amount of time that is remaining in the battery. And so it's nice to be able to see that and see the particular draw that's taking place. If I grab, for instance, I'm going to show you this little coffee Nespresso battery powered Nespresso, but let's say I plug that in to the DC. That is a 12 volt connector. I'll show you this product in a moment, which is quite nice for when you don't have access to power and you want to make coffee. Again, I will turn that on, and now we've got basically 2 items that are drawing on power from the battery. Again, we'll see the adjustment. There's about 30 watts of power, about 34 hours remaining on the given draw that's taking place. If I were to just unplug the laptop adapter here and not turn this off, these are still live, but you see that the amount of power being drawn from the unit is very, very low. And then subsequently you see that the amount of time remaining at 76% charge is about 50 hours. So this is going to really come in handy up north. I'm looking forward to trying this out and actually doing its own little video as how this and a secondary one become part of our little ecosystem up there. So one of the items, key items for going up to an off-grid area where cell service is non-existent, data on our phones spotty or non-existent, is an ability to be able to communicate with family, I guess friends as well. For me, it's being able to communicate with Sofia when if I'm off on my own, or when we're both let's say hiking, or we've gone kayaking or canoeing, an ability to communicate back with our families. It's this device here, the Garmin Inreach. Has been a terrific purchase for us. We've used it a few times. And what this device does, I'm just powering it up here, is it does a number of things very well, but its key items, you can see that here on the side there is an SOS button. And so holding that down will, using the satellite systems, send an SOS message to emergency services, who can communicate with you via the device in sort of a text message type fashion, and also see your location. Now, it does do many other things. Some of those things that it does, you can see here on its front screen. Hope that's viewable. Let's just some of the things that it does is it's got navigation built right in, so I can preset routes, hiking routes, kayaking, canoeing routes, off-roading routes I wouldn't do. I would use Gaia GPS for that. It's got a number of preset messages that can be delivered through. So you can see here, starting my trip. You can see there's a series of messages. Starting my trip, delayed but everything's okay, arrived, all is okay. And you can see that those go to myself and Sofia. So
You can add different recipients. Maybe we put a parent in there. Maybe we put our children in there. And those are very quick preset messages. They get sent up to the satellites, and then they get delivered to that individual's email. You can also turn on a tracking feature, which allows those that you have given permission to be able to track you on a map, let's say as you're hiking through a remote area. And when you turn tracking on, you get to set its interval, and then it will, let's say every 5 minutes or whatnot, it will basically drop a digital breadcrumb in a sense. You also have an ability to just do messages. So this is more akin to sending a text message. The keyboard on here is a bit strange. It's sort of, you've got to use these arrow keys to be able to navigate the keyboard itself. But what you can do is pair this with a Bluetooth phone. So I do pair it with the iPhone, and then I'm able to just use a virtual keyboard as if I'm sending a text message. And this is a nice feature as well if I want to have a bit more of an exchange than just the preset messages, which you do have to set on the internet beforehand. It's got weather on demand, which is useful again when you're in a remote area. If you can't use your iPhone or your Android phone to get weather, this will give you very specific weather to your location. And then it's got a compass, built-in compass, which is nice as well to be able to use again while you're hiking. Battery life has been terrific. Again, I don't use this as my primary GPS. I do use Gaia GPS, but I do use it for the tracking, and I do use it for the messaging, and the battery life has been terrific. So this gets clipped to our pack or to somewhere on our person, and has really become a key device to be used when we're in remote areas. Well, a couple of things as I sit outside here, just getting a little sun between meetings. First, I'm happy that I got my second Pfizer vaccine today. It's nice to have that in the can, so to speak, and one more step to putting COVID behind us. Second, as a part of the things that we have been putting in place so that we can adventure and do some things up north this summer, but also just into the year ahead, is the Jeep. We haven't talked too much about our Jeep, which we affectionately call Jeeves, as some of you probably picked up on in Instagram posts and previous videos. And traded in my previous car. Was an electric car, which was terrific. Traded it in back in March of this year for a Wrangler, and tomorrow looking forward to taking it to Just Jeeps, which is in Toronto, to have a rack installed, a small table in the tailgate, picking up an ARB awning and screen room, and eventually, it doesn't come in yet, but an iCamper rooftop tent, which we will leverage in the summertime. So I'm looking forward to that. The Jeep really, has been something we've talked about for probably close to 2 years. And it's amazing how it really does sort of open up new places for us to explore. You'll have perhaps seen from our very first episode when we were up in Northern Ontario, we were taking it on some back mining roads and logging roads and ending up at some beautiful little lakes that we couldn't otherwise get to. And I'm looking forward to doing that this summer and being able to stop somewhere for the day and pop out an awning that you can have lunch under, maybe stay somewhere for an evening and pop up the tent and just camp out by a little lakeside location. And so I'll be sure to capture that, dropping off the Jeep tomorrow, hopefully picking it up tomorrow, and hopefully our rooftop tent does come sooner rather than later. Well, we're dropping Jeeves off here at Just Jeeves. Stay tuned for the next episode to see the accessories.